Now, Isaac grew up, and Abraham wanted him to have a wife. So he asked one of his most faithful servants to travel to a faraway land and find a wife for his son. Abraham really wanted a wife for his son, and he wanted him to have a good wife. So his servant prayed, "Please, God, help me find the right wife for Isaac." Soon a woman came to fetch water from the well. "I shall ask one of them to give me a drink. If she brings me water for my camels too, she will be the right wife for Isaac." So he saw a beautiful girl carrying a water jar. He asked her for a drink. She gave him from the jar and ran to fetch waters for his camels. This told him that she was the right one for Isaac. "What is your name?" he asked. "I am Rebekah, the granddaughter of Nahor," she replied. The servant soon met her family and told them why he had come. And even though it meant that Rebekah would have to leave her family and move far away, she agreed to do so. Not only was she moving away from her family, but she was going to marry a man that she had never met. The good part is that as soon as Isaac saw Rebekah, he fell in love with her and they were married. I'm going to show you a picture. Now, many years went by being married, and they still had no children. But Isaac remembered God's promise that Abraham's family would be the start of a great nation. So Abraham prayed to God to send them a child. Soon after that, Rebekah gave birth to twin boys, and their names were Issau and Jacob. But the two boys were very different from each other, even though they were twins. Now, they were very different, as you can see how they are different in the picture. They're very, very different from each other, even though they are twins. Esau was Isaac's favorite. And as the older brother, because he came out first, he was supposed to be the head of the family when Isaac died. He loved to go out hunting and often brought home meat for meals. Jacob, though, this one was Esau. Jacob, he was Rebekah's favorite, and he was much quieter, and he preferred to stay home. So, they were very different, and Rebekah had her favorite, which was Jacob, and Isaac had his favorite, which was Esau. But both of them were loved very, very much by their parents. So one day, Esau had been hunting all day, and when he came back home, Jacob was cooking some lentil stew, as you can see here in the picture. Now, Esau said, "Please give me some of that stew, because I'm so tired and exhausted." "All right," said Jacob, "but only if you agree that I will be the number one son and the head of the family when our father dies." But Esau, he must have been pretty hungry, because he said yes and sold his birthright for a bowl of stew. Which meant that by him selling his birthright like he did, now it was Jacob who would be head of the family when Isaac died. This is really an interesting story. A very, very interesting story, because Esau was the one who would continue the family line from Abraham, whom God already promised he'd be a great nation. And although it took several years, he and his wife Rebekah did have twins. These twins were very different from each other. But Jacob obviously had more love for God, and he appreciated God more. And this is probably why God allowed this to happen, where Esau sold him his birthright for a cup of stew. By doing this, now Jacob will become head of the family, meaning that the great nation would continue to grow through Jacob. So basically everything that happened here in this story was maneuvered by God. I hope you enjoyed today's Bible story. I really liked it, about Isaac and Rebekah and the twin boys. Next week, we're going to continue the story of Jacob and Esau a little more. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to come back next week, okay? Like this video, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.